Myth about proteins. The sport nutrition is generally full of myths, which are many times causing bad nutrition of certain people. A myth or a misinformation can make muscle progression impossible and also bring more body fat as necessary. There are in principle 5 known myths concerning only proteins. The first one, there is a myth that the more proteins intake you can get into your body, the better for you and your muscle development. Especially in the bodybuilding world, we can see more and more training people taking more and more proteins without even knowing whether this can help effectively their muscle growth. The truth is that the proteins are the basic material for constructing the muscle mass. For this, they are necessary for the body. That's obvious. However, if our nutrition contains too much of the proteins intake, it's absolutely unproductive and many times consumed instead of saccharides and healthy fats. It is more important, as many people think, to consume also saccharides, as they do a synergy with proteins, and this by many human body processes. As for healthy fats, these are helping to create an adapted hormonal environment. Myth 2. Another myth is that the source of protein is not important. This is not true, because every protein has another biological value, and also the speed of absorption in our body is different. The biological value of a protein given by the representation and by the presence of amino acids. The best value have the proteins containing the essential amino acids, and usually these are the bioproteins. As for the speed, there are proteins which are quicker absorbed by our body and the slower absorbed proteins, which can take 4 to 6 hours until they are fully absorbed by our body. As an example of speed protein, I can name the whey proteins, which we can buy also in a powder. The white part of eggs, some types of fish, etc., etc. As for the slower proteins, I can name casein protein, meat, or complete eggs. Not to be forced to engage a larger explanation, shortly I can say that the speedy proteins can be consumed in the morning and also just before your training. The slow proteins is better to consume during the day between meals and before sleeping. Myth number 3. About the myth that one must get 2 grams of protein per 1 kilo of body weight, there are many discussions. Everybody must know that this is not completely true. It is just a general value for our orientation. Nobody should respect it as a blind law, but in some cases it can be useful. If somebody is consulting very low quantity of saccharides and fats, in such a case of consuming, he can rise up the protein intake. Otherwise, you can lose muscle fibers. A very important reason can be also a very hard bodybuilding training done too often and for a longer period. Or if a bodybuilder is doing during the day also other sports, he can then consume up to 2.5 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. Be aware of the fact that during the days of non-training or during a pause in your training, your intake of proteins must go down, even to just 1 gram per kilo of body weight or even less. Myth 4. The muscle growth needs absolutely protein supplements. This might be True, but not in all cases. Protein powders can be used for one important reason. They are easy to consume and they are rather economic as a solution. A reason can be also lack of time to consume in a particular moment normal nutrition. But everybody must know that these are supplements. They cannot replace a normal nutrition. This is important to know, especially for young people starting in bodybuilding who are over exaggerating protein powders. Myth number 5, that from proteins you cannot arise your fat percentage. If any of us is consuming unnecessary high values of proteins, saccharides or fats, it will lead to high fat percentage in our body. Of course, the proteins have the lowest danger to create our high fat percentage if we compare them to saccharides or fats. But it is a big error to think they cannot create fat in the body and that they create only bigger muscles. If somebody is consuming too much proteins, these are changed to glucose by means of other processes in our body. And this derivative of proteins then can be changed to body fat. So be careful. As everything, consume proteins always in the frame of reasonable limits. Do not exaggerate them, thinking that you will be having bigger muscles as you consume bigger quantities of protein. At the end of the day, you can be big in fat. Thanks for your attention and have a very nice day.